Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello and welcome to We Are Starfleet, a Star Trek podcast on the We Made This podcast network. I'm Ashley Thomas, aka the Nerdy Blogger, and I am your host today. Joining me for today's episode of We Are Starfleet, discussing Star Trek Prodigy, Season 1, Episode 17, Ghost in the Machine, is my amazing friend and fellow podcaster, Brandi Jackola. Hi, Brandi.
Hello, Ashley. It's been too long since we podcasted.
Girl, I know. I was just thinking, when was the last time I got to record with Brandi? And I'm pretty sure it was when we talked about Episode 7 of Strange New Worlds this past summer. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Too long. But you have gotten to join some of the other wonderful folks here on We Are Starfleet in the meantime then, I think, right?
I'm thinking. Probably.
I know you got to be on an episode of my other show, Podcast 616, talking about She-Hulk.
Yes, it was amazing. Great time.
Yeah. Loved listening back to that episode. It was so much fun to hear what you and Hugh had to say about my favorite super gal. But this isn't a Marvel podcast. That's Podcast 616, which you can tune into on the We Made This podcast network. This is We Are Starfleet. So just some business up front. If you wanted to follow We Are Starfleet on Twitter, you can do so at Starfleet Pod. Send us your thoughts on our episodes and any other thoughts you have on Star Trek, particularly in this instance, Star Trek Prodigy. So, all right. So, Brandi, since you and I have we gotten to talk about Star Trek Prodigy at all?
No.
Not. Please tell me your thoughts on Star Trek Prodigy.
I freaking love it.
You do?
I do.
I do too. To be totally fair, I haven't met a Star Trek I haven't liked. But I'm especially impressed with Prodigy. So tell me, what are some overall thoughts besides I think it's awesome and I love it?
Well, I love the sort of, I guess diversity is the right word of the characters because they're all so different. All of them are so different from each other. And they are able to do stuff like this in animation that they couldn't do as well in live action. And so they really just went all out with every one of these characters and their appearances. I love the characters. I love the voices. I love the art direction. I love the visual effects. I love the story. When it was early on in the series, I was annoyed by both Gwen and Del, and that is normal. They're annoying at first. But you know it's going to get better, and I knew it was going to get better. And then we finally got to that point, and I was like, yes, now we're a cohesive team. I love it. And I just think that it is some of the best Star Trek out there because it is appealing to all ages. It's on Nickelodeon now. Yeah, it's geared towards kids, but it's not just for kids. It's for everybody. And if you've never seen Star Trek before, this is like the perfect entry point to get you going. And I just, and having Janeway and just hearing Kate Mulgrew doing Janeway, just, I'll be honest, because I have the screeners, I've seen the rest of the season. I obviously can't talk about it, but I was crying my eyes out.
Oh,
in the best way.
Yeah. One of the things that really impresses me about Star Trek Prodigy is that it is a wonderful example of what does it mean to be emotionally intelligent.
Yes, thank you.
Which so many adults don't know how to do, let alone, the target audience for this is kids or young adults. And, what a wonderful thing for them to learn. Like, here's how I can express my feelings and the things I'm thinking about and, do that in a healthy way. Like, oh, man, that's wonderful. Like, kids need to learn that. Adults need to learn that. I need to learn that.
I have absolutely zero problems with expressing my emotions because I can't help it. But yeah, I think a lot of the new Trek and Discovery actually gets a really bad rap for this, and I don't understand why. Because Discovery is all about emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
And wonderful progressive examples of emotional intelligence. And the thing is, adults are like, oh, no, I just...
talk about our feelings.
I don't want to talk about my feelings, but when it's kids doing it, somehow that's okay. And if that's the way you can get through to those people, then more power to them.
Yeah, no, I'm, similar thoughts. Like, I'm just really enjoying it. I love how accessible it is. I'm really looking forward to, I'm hoping over the holidays I can sit down with my niece and nephew and say, hey, let's watch this show, and hopefully I can impress them and be like, I've talked to some of those people. Probably not. They're 4 and 7. They're just going to be all like, woo, it's a cartoon. But I'm hoping that would be a fun thing we could do together. But yeah, but this episode, Ghost in the Machine, like, our crew is kind of like at an impasse. They're stuck in the neutral zone. They're trying to fix the ship. They're trying to find a way out. They're trying to find a way to communicate with Starfleet without, destroying them. That's kind of a big problem. So we're trying to problem solve in what feels like an impossible situation. One of the things I loved about this episode, and, full spoiler territory ahead, so, if you've not watched the episode, push pause, go watch it, come back. Welcome back. Okay, so with this episode, this is our first time really getting a holodeck episode in Star Trek Prodigy. That was I guess most Star Treks have a holodeck episode, except for original series where that was not a thing. But
Well,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and it starts out seeming like a typical holodeck thing. Oh no, the safety protocols are off. Safety protocols are always going to be off in a holodeck episode. but it's not what you think it is. Mm-hmm. And they take this trope. It's really a trope of Star Trek now. Mm-hmm. The holodeck episode where the holodeck malfunctions and they're locked out. They can't get out of the holodeck and now the safety protocols are off. That's the standard, holodeck episode. Mm-hmm. And they turn it on its ear and they do something different with it. And it's brilliant how they do this.
Yes, I agree. Let me just tell you, I don't know. Some of the other guys on the show, like Craig in particular, is really good at predicting, like, I think they're going to do this. And so I haven't gotten to talk with him about this episode, so maybe, he's just brilliant and already figured out, oh yeah, they were going to do that. But didn't see that ending coming. I was a little surprised by that, and also like, oh man, kind of broke my heart, because I think earlier, when we were first getting episodes of Prodigy, like in the first few episodes, one of the things I noticed about Prodigy is that this is a show that helps kids answer the question, what do I do when the adults in my life don't do what they're supposed to? Mm-hmm. When the adults in my life let me down. And you think, because again, full spoiler territory, but, the one quote-unquote adult on the Protostar is hologram Janeway, and we find that, there's a ghost in the machine, or a glitch in the Matrix, or we find that hologram Janeway, through no fault of her own, put the kids in jeopardy. So I was like, wow, what a great, I mean, not great, but like, how important is it? Because even the adults in our lives as kids, like with the best intentions, are still going to make mistakes. They're going to not do stuff right by us, even if they don't mean to. So, how do we deal with that? And like, this is such a big question for, like, a 24-minute episode. Again, Prodigy's, killing it on the writing side, but
it is.
Let's talk about like just general things. Tell me the stuff you really enjoyed about this episode.
Well, when it started, of course, people were thinking, oh no, they're actually having a battle with the Dauntless, and I thought, no, this is this holographic simulation. I knew immediately. I've just seen too much Star Trek. I've seen all the Star Trek. I know how this goes. And so I was unsurprised when they ended the simulation. And I loved the scene in the mess hall with all of the, I guess, ice cream. I think it was ice cream.
Yes, it looked. I mean, they didn't call it ice cream.
No,
but I'm going to assume it's ice cream. What is it that they say?
Pile it on.
Pile it on, man. And so I watched this episode. When did I watch it? Tuesday. And I had to go to the grocery store last night, and so I totally got some ice cream. And so when my husband and I sit down to watch this together tomorrow, I'm going to be all like, "Okay, honey, we need to eat ice cream while we watch this episode." And he's not gonna object because he loves to eat ice cream. But I mean, who doesn't? But pile it on. That's what I'm just gonna say. Pile it on.
So good. I actually don't generally like ice cream. I like one ice cream. I know, I'm a weirdo.
That's okay.
I like one ice cream.
I still like
and it's mint chocolate chip.
Oh, okay.
I eat mint chocolate chip ice
chocolate
cream.
chip is delightful.
And it kind of looked a little bit like it was like mint chocolate chip, except the little dots in it were pink, so I'm not really sure what was going on with that. but yeah, that was just a fun scene, and how they were all just dealing with their disappointment, and Jankum talking about how he wanted to punch that guy in the face with words.
I love that he tacked on the with words, and Gwen's like, no, I want to punch my dad in the face with my hand.
Yep.
like, all right, we feel like that, Yeah. I want to punch them with words, or I want to punch them with my hand.
Yeah. See, me, I'm the punch them in the throat type of person.
Oh, okay.
You punch them in the throat, and then they're struggling to breathe, and they can't say anything.
Oh.
And they're also, panicking because they can't breathe.
Smart.
And so, you've got the upper hand there. So you can either run, or you can really give them a whooping, It's just, and I'm starting to see in the last few years a lot more throat punching in television and movies. And every time I see it, I'm like, yep, see, it works.
Wow. Man, I never quite thought about it in those terms, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, throat punch, especially effective if you're a lady facing off against a larger opponent.
True. Good to know. Ladies,
or a small person in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a lady per se, but ladies use the throat punch. They're never expecting it.
No. I will tack on to the ice cream discussion with Gwen saying, what kind of crazy person whips cream? And I laughed out loud because I draw the ire of so many people come holiday season. I don't care that much for whipped cream. I'll take a little bit of freshly made whipped cream on my pumpkin pie, and that's about it. I don't care if it's on my milkshake or in my coffee or whatever. I'm like, I'll take it or leave it. I don't feel strongly about it. Whereas I have a good friend who she says I primarily eat pumpkin pie as a vehicle for whipped cream. So I'm with Gwen on that one. So between you and I, we have some dropping some hot takes here on We Are Starfleet tonight.
Well, I am in the same camp as far as whipped cream is concerned, because I feel like it's a waste. Just give me the cream. You don't need to whip it. Just drizzle the cream over the pumpkin pie. That's all I need, okay?
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right.
That's just my personal opinion, but I do not eat like store-bought whipped cream, like the instant whipped cream that you squirt out. I don't do that. If I'm going to have whipped cream, it's got to be homemade. So, and I have made it more than a few times at family dinners. They're like, "Oh, Brandi, since you suck at cooking, why don't you do the whipped cream?"
Like, you know what, and people go mad over it. So, I mean, obviously, you're doing it right.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't eat it any other time, but during holiday dinners, that's it.
Yeah.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Wow, that's funny. But anyway, yes, I love that the solution was we're mad and we need to, blow off some steam. What do we need to do? We need to eat ice cream. We need to, what kind of madman makes whipped cream? And then, Gwen squirts the whipped cream directly into her mouth. I'm like, oh, girl, this is like sad stage in a romantic comedy level stuff. Good job.
Nice.
It just made me laugh. It's a nice little bit of levity in this episode with that. So tell me. I'm sorry, I interrupted, but please tell me what else. What other things did you really enjoy about this episode?
Well, I love the sort of misdirection. Because, everybody breaks up and goes back to their quarters and whatnot. But you see Gwen using her heirloom to do chin-ups, like pull-ups.
Yes, I'm like...
That's what, that's how you work it out. Okay, you go, girl. And you just see this thing walk by behind her. And I didn't really catch what it was the first time. I'm like, what is that? And then she calls it a feral human.
Feral human.
Which I don't know why, but it struck me as so funny.
Listen, you know what? Have you been to Walmart? There's some feral humans in there.
I don't go inside Walmart.
No.
For this reason. No, I don't go inside stores if I can help it. If there's curbside pickup, that's what I'm doing.
Too many feral humans.
Just too many feral humans. Just so funny. I don't know. It just was so funny to me, and I thought immediately, oh, they're still in the holodeck. And especially when the smoochie showed up, and it was just like, yeah, absolutely, they're in the holodeck.
Thinking about it a little more, it reminded me of that one episode of Voyager where Janeway is having visions of stuff she's seen in the holodeck. I'm blanking on the title of that episode. I don't know.
Yeah, my friend Dan isn't here. He'd know that immediately.
You know what? They covered it. So they're up to Star Trek Voyager now in Mission Log. I don't know if you listen to the Mission Log podcast, but it's the official Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. And they're going episode by episode through every series. So they covered that one somewhat recently. But anyway, definitely would recommend. Lots of fun. But yeah, so we're having holodeck mishaps. We tried to blow off some steam with some ice cream. But turns out there's feral humans and smoochies and other crazy things running about. One of the things I really enjoyed about getting to hear or see like the different scenarios in the holodeck is we learn how does our crew blow off steam, and you get a little more insight into their personalities. And truthfully, we know our crew fairly well by now. None of this was really that big of a surprise for me. Like, obviously, Zero goes and solves puzzles in like a Sherlock style mystery, Agatha Christie kind of thing. And then, you've got Jankum going street fighting. By the way, props to Nami Melomad, who is the composer for Star Trek Prodigy, because I really enjoyed listening to all these wildly different musical cues that she had to come up with for each one. So when they get out into the alley and like this 90s rock sort of thing starts playing, and I just, I'm like, okay, you got all this neon. I'm feeling Blade Runner. We're not quite with Blade Runner, but it's maybe a hybrid of like Blade Runner and Akira. And Jankum's gonna have to go beat up these guys. And oh crap, the safety protocols are off. This hurts.
And I'm the weirdo that was thinking Warriors.
Oh yeah, no. So I haven't seen the Warriors. That is a gap in my cult film viewing. But I
gotta see it.
Okay.
So weird.
No, I think I would enjoy it.
I did.
I've got a good friend that really enjoys that film, and then also I really loved Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes.
If you look closely in his bedroom, he has a poster of the Warriors, which
nice.
I know enough about it to know. Okay, this is a movie with fighting in it, and so it's probably fun to watch on for that. So, but yes,
it's so weird, and I love it. I unapologetically love it.
Yeah.
And there's this one famous scene that everybody knows that there was actually a video game of the movie as well, and it's this. I think if I remember right, they're on a bus or a subway or something like that, and one of the bad guys has the beer bottle stuck to these fingers.
And by these fingers, she means her thumb, index, and traffic finger.
Yeah, okay. Because, the audience can see me, right? And then he's clinking them together and going, Warriors, come out and play.
Oh, no.
That's one of my favorite stupid things. And I will, like, when a toilet paper roll runs out, I will build up until I've got like 3 of them, and I'll put them on those fingers and go into the living room and go, Warriors! My husband laughs every time.
You know what? That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Awesome. But yeah, I think the biggest surprise for me, obviously, Dal is trying to be a captain, so obviously he's captaining a pirate ship because, he was raised by a Ferengi, which is kind of like a more, they're pirate-ish. and then, you've got Rok-Tahk, who is obviously working out a vet scenario in her downtime. But Murph is apparently a lounge singer in his downtime.
He likes noir?
Yeah, I kept waiting for Dixon Hill to show up.
Right. That would have been amazing.
I was just like, did they get Picard to come back for this as Dixon Hill?
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And the one thing I do wonder is, was that D. Bradley Baker singing?
That I asked myself the same question, and I couldn't. At least I missed it in the credits.
I watched the credits twice, and
okay.
No, there's no credit for that who's singing. So
it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, D is kind of amazing. Like he's voice acting giant. Can do things with his face that should not be humanly possible. I heard him on a podcast once with Rob Paulson. It was a podcast he used to do called Talkin' Tunes. And he's like, hey, D, sound like a swamp. And I don't know what this man did, but it sounded exactly like a swamp. But he says things like, oh, I just have to close my left nostril and I have to do this. And like, you could just close off your left nostril? And he's like, yeah. You know? So anyway, D. Bradley Baker, amazing. Would not surprise me if he also moonlit as a lounge singer like Murph.
It was very well done. So
Murphy No Shoes. Murphy No Shoes.
Murph can sing or lip sync very convincingly.
Right. I wrote down the quote. He can sing, he can dance, or he can reasonably lip sync.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought this scenario is really interesting. One thing I do want to point out that is a very, very nerdy, very specific Easter egg has absolutely nothing to do with Star Trek. So I'm curious if you caught Dahl's command code.
He said it so fast, and I thought, this is significant, and yet I didn't stop to figure out why.
Okay, so I wrote it down. It's GBN6432X, aka Game Boy, Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis 32X, which I'm like, so what I'm understanding from this now is Dahl is a real retro gamer. You know, forget holodeck. I mean, he's playing Mario Kart.
Yeah. And, you know, I somewhere still have my original Nintendo, my Super Nintendo, my Nintendo GameCube. My first PlayStation died. The second PlayStation I still have somewhere. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. I never got into Sega. I was never, I never got my hands on a Sega. So I have Game Boys. I had the original Game Boy. And
yeah, me too.
The game after. And my 3DS is over there somewhere. And so, I should have caught that. But the way he said it and said it so fast, I just thought that's significant. And then we're off to the races again with the episode, and I just forgot about it.
Well, you know,
well done, you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that I was pretty proud of myself for catching that. But the first time I heard it, I was like, wait, did I hear that correctly? But then I'm just watching the episode for the first time, so I just kind of let it slide by, and I watched it 2 more times after that, and I was like, hey, that was really fun. Nice little Easter egg. Oh man. All
if
right.
they had worked Pong in there somewhere, that would have been like because that was my first video game in 1977.
Nice, very cool, very cool. Yeah, so we've hit like all like the little fun Easter eggy thingies that we like, but what ultimately does this mean? Like, while it was so much fun to like watch all these different holodeck scenarios and keep going for after this, so we got to find the skeleton key, which your little kid skeleton key sounds spooky. But I also thought about Picard again, and so I had that in mind because of season 2 of Picard. If you've not watched it, a skeleton key plays a role. So I was thinking about that, but then I was also thinking about when we got to the noir lounge singer scenario with Murph, I'm like, Dixon Hill is going to show up because we've already got a skeleton key. Picard. No, that was just wishful thinking.
Oh man, if only.
Yeah. But what I really appreciated about this episode, well, it was holodeck episodes in general tend to be a little bit filler. We still got to have some insight about our crew. And we get to ask that big question I mentioned earlier. What do we do when the adults in our lives fail us, even if it's unintentional?
Yeah. I think that this is probably, out of all the holodeck malfunction episodes, this one is my favorite because there is a reason why this is happening. It's purposeful. It's not, I mean, yeah, there was the whole thing with Minuet and Riker, and don't even get me started on that. And that was kind of purposeful as well.
Right.
But this had meaning. This wasn't just an accident. This wasn't somebody hitting the wrong button. It was planned out, though they didn't know it at first. And then to find out that it was planned out, and the devastation for both the kids and for Janeway hologram. Mm-hmm. She's just horrified, absolutely horrified that she did this. Yeah.
And, speaking as an adult who, turns out I do make mistakes occasionally, it's hard to know how to make that right. And with hologram Janeway, she's not sure she can make it right. And I think as an adult, like, sometimes you are faced with that scenario where you've messed up, you didn't mean to, but there's only so much you can do to rectify a situation. And unfortunately, there are some things that can't be fixed.
Yeah.
Or at least not easily. And that's, I felt that one. That one was real for me. I don't know why I'm having like a counseling session while watching Star Trek Prodigy, but I feel like this happens almost every single week.
Yep.
Yeah. So for me, that was the biggest takeaway there. While it was so much fun to be in these different holodeck scenarios, see what our crew does to blow off steam, it was still like, man, you get that little emotional gut punch there at the end, not just for, our crew, but for hologram Janeway as well, who, again, this is the Voyager era showing us that holograms have feels. And are sentient and maybe persons. So here we are.
Very interesting. I like that they... Okay, it's hard to say it this way, but I like that they did this. I like that they gave the hologram this flaw, this subroutine that she didn't know about, that made her do these things, because this ship has to get to Starfleet. That is its core directive. That's the living construct's core directive. It's to get this ship to Starfleet and destroy Starfleet. And that...
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
They've laid the trail for this throughout the entire season, that there's something going on in Janeway's subroutines, but we'd forgotten about it. We had that little hiatus, and then we're having these final 10 episodes, and so we've kind of forgotten about the glitches, why she can't remember certain things, etc. And all of those clues have now culminated in this reveal that she's been manipulated by the diviner, by the living construct, to make sure that this ship gets into Federation territory.
Yeah, so Janeway's got these gaps in her knowledge, or excuse me, I should say, clarify, hologram Janeway. And you're right, we do forget, because she's a hologram. She's not going to do anything she's not programmed to do. And yet she has gaps in memory. So she can't remember like what happened to Chakotay or what happened to the original crew of the Protostar. And she's functioned very well as this mentor figure to our young crew. And so, you forget, like, oh, she's, as great as these AIs and holograms are in the Star Trek universe, they can go wrong, because, fun fact, they're programmed by humans who, again, make mistakes. But this, we have like the more sinister aspect of the living construct on the ship that's infecting that. And so, how can our young crew trust hologram Janeway? How can hologram Janeway trust herself? Like, I think she's going to deactivate until they get this thing off the ship.
But they can't get it off the ship. That's the problem.
Again, yeah, no. So I haven't watched ahead. You have, so no spoilers, friend.
Yeah. No, I would never spoil.
Of course
but
not.
They made it clear that they can't take the living construct out of the ship. It's impossible.
Right.
Even the Borg couldn't do that. The only thing that the Borg could have done was assimilate it and just make it work for them. But they couldn't have removed. Even if the Borg can't remove it, then you're kind of screwed.
So I do want to circle back to one other thing that occurred in our holodeck simulation is Gwen's visit to the barista in Murph's noir lounge singer scenario. First of all, I used to work in coffee. That is a bar, not a... but obviously we're not going to say things like that in a kid's show. Or we're not going to make references to alcohol in something that's rated Y7. So I found that just amusing on a different level. But the whole, let's make the bartender the diviner. And that's definitely a shock to Gwen's system, for sure. What did you make of that particular interaction?
Well, I thought, is she going to just let loose all the stuff that's going on in her head on this poor hapless hologram? And she doesn't do that, which is fascinating.
I mean, even from the original pilot of Star Trek, we have the line, a man will tell his bartender things he would never tell his doctor. Mm-hmm. So, and you see that play out in different ways in other iterations of Star Trek, whereas, we have a ship's counselor on board in Next Gen, and it seems like Picard does most of his counseling at the bar with Guinan. So, I don't know what to make of that. There's lots of different kinds of scenarios. Like, in Voyager, Neelix kind of serves as he's functionally the bartender, but also offers his sage bit of advice and that sort of thing. So again, we've got this is the scenario we have here.
Yeah, I think it's a human aversion to people having a degree. It's like, okay, well, this person went to school for this, and they're gonna just know everything about me, and they're gonna try and get in my head, and etc. ad nauseum. And yet, you can talk to a person that you don't even know, a bartender or a barista, if you will, and you'll say things to them that you would never say to that professional sitting across from you, because people have been programmed to not trust psychology. And I don't know why. Psychology is amazing. Counseling is amazing. Therapy is amazing. And we, especially in this country, have such an aversion to that, of course, nobody's going to go see the counselor. They're going to go see Guinan.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think that's an unfair assessment, friend. It's interesting. Yeah. I'd not quite thought about it in those terms, but I think you're right. I think you got a point.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, moral of the story: go see a counselor, friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please
we love
do.
you. Take care of your mental health.
Yes, it is as important, if not more so, than your physical health, because your mental health will affect the rest of you.
Sure enough. But yeah. So. You've already seen the other episodes, so I'm not going to ask you to speculate.
I can tell you what I was speculating when I saw this episode.
Okay. Please do.
And this is no spoilers. This doesn't include any information that I have about the next 3 episodes. It was what I thought the first time that I watched the screener, which was about a week ago, and then I watched it again yesterday. So when we get to the end of that, I thought, okay, so how are they going to make sure that Janeway doesn't go muy loco again?
Right.
And she probably will deactivate herself. Also, we have had this whole reveal of the living construct, how it cannot be removed. And the way that this series is building up to it, at the time that I actually saw this episode for the first time, I thought, there is no way in hell that they're not going to get to Starfleet, that they're not going to set off that thing. There's no way. Mm-hmm. The question is, what will they do about it? And how is this going to wrap up? And there's so many ways that this could go. But one thing of which I was certain of at the time of my first viewing of the episode was that living construct is going to destroy a lot of ships. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because they're not going to build that up and then not have that happen.
Good thoughts. So my concern right now is the protostar has to has to connect with Starfleet. That's its prime directive, for want of better terminology. It's its operating orders. We are now up next to the Dauntless. The Diviner is on the Dauntless. I think the Diviner, assuming his memory is back and functional, is going to have an oh crap moment. Because we found the protostar, but it's going to connect with this ship that I'm on, and it's going to mess it up. I've got to escape now. So he's going to have to make a quick escape if that's going to work in his favor. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know what Essentia is to him, because that was a cool reveal that I was not expecting. Also, props to Jamil for playing that differently than I anticipated, so that was really fun.
She's getting all the villain roles up in here.
And she's so great at comedy. I was fully expecting her to do something a little bit comedic with this role, and no, she's just going straight up villain. Mm-hmm. So that's a new, at least for me. I haven't watched a ton of her work other than like The Good Place and She-Hulk, right. And having listened to her on some podcasts, and just to think she's a delight. So I've not really seen her play like a straight villain before, and this has been fun to hear her in this particular performance. So I don't know if Essensia's got like some sort of backup plan. Does she know about the living construct? I'm assuming that she does, but because she would know about that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's right. So I don't know. I don't know what they intended to do when they found the protostar. So,
well, they did have, when they were trying to get him to remember what had happened, she did talk about how there were others who were sent.
That's right.
So, yeah, she was one of them. She just, because of wormholes being what they are.
Right.
He arrived 20 years earlier, and she arrived 3 years ago. Mm-hmm, so yeah, because wormholes in time, time is not a constant. We think it is, but it is not.
Yeah. Temporal anomalies, they're gonna screw with you.
Big time.
Yeah. So I guess my biggest question for the next episode is, how are they gonna navigate this? Because I think this is definitely going to complicate the situation. Tysus is in control. Also, Daveed Diggs, delightful in that role as Tysus. Again, because unfortunately, my only real familiarity with him is watching him in Hamilton as Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson, and he brings like some levity to those roles, and he has a lightness about him. And then so now he's playing this Andorian. Now, am I understanding correctly that Tysus is also half Vulcan?
He certainly seems like it.
I thought I caught him saying that or something like that, or there was something that gave me that impression, and maybe it's just his mannerisms. But he's got he's very level. Mm-hmm. So, especially with that conversation about emotions in that episode, where we're really getting a good introduction to him, because at least in what I have seen, I have watched all of Star Trek. By no means does that make me an expert, but when I think about Andorians, I mostly think of Jeffrey Combs as Shran in Enterprise, and he's very fiery, he's very sassy, takes no lip. So I that is kind of my, and then in Hemmer, who's a different kind of Andorian.
He's an Enar.
Enar, thank you. You know, so a different varietal of Andorian, but you know, they've all got like a bit of sass to them. And Tysus is very level and frank. So, but without sassy pants.
And it doesn't sound like a very Andorian name either. Of course, I'm ascribing certain characteristics to a race that could probably have 1,000 different names, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to sound like what I think an Andorian name should sound like.
Right. I mean, I don't know that we've, you know, broken down the linguistics and etymology of the Andorian language, because I think we've only really heard them speak common. Federation Standard. Common is D&D.
That's what I would have said, though, because I'm a D&D player. So.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, we've really only heard Andorian speak Federation Standard. The only, like, quote-unquote, I guess, Andorian words that we've heard are names. So, you know, there's some linguistic intricacies there that we just don't know. So, but, you know, interesting.
That's an area that could be fleshed out. Not fleshed out in the Star Trek universe. We just don't know that much about Andorians or Enar.
Yeah.
Let's find some stuff out. Let's find out more about their language. I mean, basically, I know that the Enar live in even colder parts than Andorians, standard Andorians, I should say, and that they're even more telepathic. And so, more information, please. We've had 55, 56 years. Going on 57 years of Andorians. Let's flesh them out finally, maybe.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Just an idea. They can. We'll let them have that one.
Get Jeffrey Combs back in here. We could work it out.
Please, yes.
You know,
seriously.
he's come back as a voice in Lower Decks. He could come back as. I don't know how long Andorians live, because you know I was working that out. I was like, could anyone from Enterprise actually show up on Lower Decks or Lower Decks or Prodigy? And I figured basically the only one that probably could would be Dr. Phlox, because Denobulans can live well over 200 years. So it's possible.
It's possible. But yeah. So lots of interesting thoughts here on this episode. Any final thoughts for our listeners here today, Brandi?
This show has continually amazed me and made me laugh, made me cry. Of course, I cry really easily, but this show just really pierces my heart in a very pleasing way. You know, these are good emotions to express. And it's beautiful. It's visually beautiful. The writing is beautiful. It's a beautiful show from top to bottom. I can't wait for everybody to see the remaining 3 episodes. It's going to be 3 more weeks after this that I've got to keep my mouth shut.
Well, maybe I can get ahead a little bit, and you and I can yell at each other.
Oh yeah. Because I do talk about it. You know, I have a weekly show with my friend Dan called The Unready Room, and we talk about each new episode of Star Trek. And so it's not like I don't get to talk about it, but sometimes I just need to talk about it, like not for an audience of any specific kind, and maybe I want to use expletives that don't necessarily fit with the content, and just, you know, really let loose. So I need somebody to squee with me.
Girl, I love to squee. I may be an alto, but I can squee.
I'm totally an alto. Actually, I kind of tread in tenor territory.
Yeah, I do too.
Time.
I do too.
So yeah, be my squee buddy. Yeah.
Yes, squee.
So yeah, basically, I love the show. So I think this was a really great holodeck episode, and just a really great episode even without the holodeck malfunction. It's just great.
Yeah. I'm eager to see where they go, and you know, having had the distinct privilege of getting to interview Kevin and Dan Hageman a few weeks. I say a few weeks ago. It was like a couple months ago now, but towards the start of the season, I got to interview the Hagemans for Fangirlish, and I mean, they basically said like, every episode, like if we only get to make one, if this is the last Star Trek thing we ever get to make, how can we make it the best thing it possibly can be? And I think that really shows with Prodigy. I think even the episodes that I thought were just like, oh, that was fun. That was just kind of, I mean, even a kind of a meh Prodigy episode is still like a lot better than a lot of other shows out there. But, you know, even ones where I wasn't like completely like blown away on the floor, just beside myself, like they were still really, really good and good quality content. You know, so I think that, I mean, that's a testament to the work that's going into this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So cool. Wonderful. Well, Brandi, it has been a blast speaking with you today. Thank you for joining us here on We Are Starfleet. If the folks at home want to connect with you and maybe squee with you, what are some ways they can do that?
Well, you can find me on Twitter still at Brandi112. And that's usually where I post what I'm doing. There hasn't been a lot of that lately simply because of some personal stuff that has happened over the last few months, and a big thing really recently that, you know, no point talking about it. Ashley knows, you guys, it's fine. And but I'm also on Mastodon now. I'm at Brandi Wine at Rave Nation, so you can find me there as well. But which I actually kind of really enjoy Mastodon because it's not as cluttered. I've seen no ads, and it has like, you can make much longer posts. Like there's a really high threshold for limit of characters, and it's been fun. I've found a lot of my friends over there too, so you can find me there as well. And there was the aforementioned Unready Room, which we do right now. We're doing it on Saturdays. Usually it's in the evening, but the one that goes out on Saturday the 10th will actually be at 11 in the morning Mountain Time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. You guys have clocks in your phones. You can figure it out. And I have some other podcasts, which are kind of all on hiatus right now to the aforementioned also stuff going on in my life. But I'll quickly just run down them. It's the Vedic Assembly about Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Boldly Go about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, big surprise there, and What the Future Holds about Star Trek Discovery. And so those are all the places you can find me.
Wonderful. Brandi podcasts and, you know, produces content about Star Trek more than anyone I know that doesn't work for Star Trek. So, well done, Brandi. Very good. Very good, friend. All right. If you folks at home want to connect with me, you can do that I'm on Twitter still, at least until it implodes, at The Nerdy Blogger. You can like my Facebook page, facebook.com/TheNerdyBlogger. You can read my blog, nerdyblogging.wordpress.com. You can also read my words on fangirlish.com, where I write about film and television, mostly Star Trek. You can also hear my words being read on the Sci-Fi 5 podcast, which is a Roddenberry show. That's 5 minutes of science fiction history, 5 days a week. I've got a few episodes coming up this month where you'll get to hear my words. So looking forward to that. And aside from here on We Are Starfleet and occasionally guesting on other We Made This Podcast Network shows, you can hear me on Podcast 616, where I am one of 2 regular hosts. I co-host with Hugh McStay, who also does vampire videos here on We Made This. And we just have a lot of fun talking about Marvel, and not just the MCU, but comics and other Marvel-related things. So, anyway, thank you for joining us again on We Are Starfleet. Again, you can connect with us on Twitter at StarfleetPod. You can also connect with the We Made This podcast network on Twitter at we_made this. Star Trek isn't all that we're discussing here on the network, so if you'll hang tight for just a moment, you might hear about another show that you would enjoy as well. So, until next time, we got phasers, baby.
Welcome to the third age of podcasting.
The name of the podcast
is A Dream Given Form,
a show about J. Michael Straczynski's Babylon 5
for the We Made This podcast network.
Join us in 2022 as we look back at themes and ideas from across the show's history.
Today we're going to be discussing the three prominent leaders of Babylon 5, Sinclair, Sheridan and Delenn.
Everything from Earth and the Shadows and Mumbai all the way through from early days of Season 1 all the way through to the Interstellar Alliance, and it's their legacy. Interstellar Alliance is really the legacy of these three characters. We are kind of going to potentially some scary territory here, looking at the parallels between Earth Force and Babylon 5 and the real world in which we live in now.
It is a really insidious way of doing things, and the more I think about it and the more I watch that scene and the way that Pierce speaks and talks about it, it really just fills me with chills because, you know, our politicians do this all the time. They talk like this all the time and they hide their true intention behind false promises. Current situation with the potential reboot of Babylon 5 for the CW network.
He's been involved in comic writing, he's been for Spider-Man, he's done shows like Sense8, which is very progressive as well. He's going to bring all that experience into the project, so I think it's going to be a very different show, and even some special guests too. Lita herself, Patricia Tallman.
I love hearing that people are still interested in Babylon 5, and, you know, it's really an honor to continue the conversation around a show that meant so much to us. And, you know, it was the little show that could.
Yeah. And then in 2023, join us for the 30th anniversary of Babylon 5 as we start fortnightly look-backs at The Gathering in Season 1 and beyond.
So, join us for A Dream Given Form.
Our last best hope for peace.